Welcome to the Ecosystem Show. We're thrilled to have you with us. Here we challenge traditional mindsets and explore innovative approaches to maximizing the value of your software estate. We don't expect you to agree with everything. Challenge us, share your thoughts, and let's grow together. Now, let's dive in. It's showtime. Well, welcome everybody. We're back for season 2 of the Cloud Lighthouse podcast sponsor, which is the Ecosystem Show. We're excited to be back. Everyone's been partying, having a great summer. Unfortunately for me, when you guys are having summer, I'm having winter. Winter in New Zealand is like summer in London. So it's not too bad.
So it doesn't exist, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we
Nice.
don't.
Okay.
Exactly. It's been a great year. Anyhow, what have you guys been up to?
William has been doing some exciting things.
They've been so exciting that I can't remember what I've done because it's just been a lot of going to festivals. Went to Siget in Budapest, which is first time I've been to a festival of that size. It's 450,000 people go through it in the 6 days, so it's double the size of Glastonbury, and it was insane. But the thing that really struck me, and this is showing my age, was I didn't have to once queue for the toilet or queue for a drink. And that's what I was more impressed by than anything else.
Dude, that's pretty damn incredible. I'm not going to lie.
It's impressive, right? The logistics behind sorting that out.
Yeah, because when you're in the UK, it's like they purposely make you queue because I think we just love a queue in England.
It's a hobby.
Oh, the Brits love a queue.
Yeah, it's
yes.
like, oh shit, there's a queue.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not happy about it. I was annoyed by the lack of queues.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, dude. I was wondering that's sort of where I was going with this question. It's like, were you angry that you didn't have to stand in a line and wait for something?
Fuming.
I would say that there's nothing more British than queuing if it weren't for, being genuinely unhappy about things that should probably make you happy. That's,
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, you leave us alone. We have our hobbies. You have yours.
Hey, Chris and Anna and I all choose to live in your country, William. So
that's true. Yeah, well, we're here because we want to be here.
I appreciate you calling it my country as well. Yeah.
Well, it's not Mark's country.
Definitely not mine.
Hey, you claimed
I was colonized by your country.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Right, go on. Chris, what have you been up to? Come on.
And we're back for season 2.
Yep.
Let's start the new season strong. And of course, there's been some, we're into a new FY with Microsoft, FY25. So they've made all their announcements. I hear pretty strongly that Microsoft is no longer a software company. They're an AI company.
Yes. And
that is pretty much how they are thinking about themselves internally as an AI company. So I assume that means everybody's scorecard's going to have AI in it.
Absolutely.
And I think, what are we up to? 80-something different AI applications coming out of Microsoft. I think there's probably
101 Copilots at last count, I believe.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is this. If you're a seller inside Microsoft, how do you go to the customer and talk about AI when you have got such a conflict in understanding what are you talking about?
Yeah, this is actually a problem, right? Because I'm experiencing this now. So somebody came to do. I was being interviewed by some sort of a magazine or press company or whatever, and they're like, "Oh,
he's very important."
No, I'm not important. And they're like, "Oh, what is the first thing you need to do when you start thinking about adopting Copilot or releasing Copilot?" And I'm like, "Well, you need to be extremely specific about which Copilot and what part of AI." And I think there's a lot of miscommunication about like what AI is, what Copilot is, what specific tools we're looking at. And I'll give you the example. If you're looking at preparing for AI, like that's a huge landscape. That's massive. There's just so many things in there. And I feel a little bit bad sometimes for the Microsoft sellers because they need to get skilled up on all of these new different things, right? Which can be tough, and they have to do it extremely fast. I feel like there's a lot of confusion about what it actually is.
I am happy, though, that we've seemed to have moved away from, if you go back to this time last year, you heard a lot of, oh, this Microsoft specialist is now going to be the Copilot specialist, which of course begged the question. So that means they're going to be an expert in how many dozen products at the time? That's how many Copilots we had. So I am heartened by the notion that, at least in most of the geographies that I know, I do see some moving away from this idea that Copilot is a product rather than, Chris, you said this in a call that I heard you on earlier today, which, you said, what's the use case for Excel? Where you don't think about the use case for Excel. Excel is everywhere, and Copilot is everywhere too. And it seems like we are kind of getting the message there.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
When you look at M365, if you look at what is the fundamental sell story behind M365 is productivity, right? Everyone talks about productivity in that group of applications. In business applications, where, we talk a lot about building applications or solutions that enable or empower the business that might not be commercially available off the shelf. So you build a solution out on it. How do you pitch AI in this world of now? And Will and I were having a discussion off air. There is such a level of noise, not just from Microsoft, but globally around AI. There's an element of snake oil being sold with it, right? So every company that's been around for 15 years is all of a sudden, you go to their, landing pages and you'd think they'd been born in the cloud type thing or born in AI, right? It seems like they're all AI experts all of a sudden. You were like, we just know you're not being in the game long enough to be AI experts.
So I had a conversation with an organization a while back that they had gone so far as to rename their company. And I'm not going to say who it is, but so that they would have the word AI in the name of the company. And I asked them, I asked point blank, well, what are you doing with AI? And the response from one of their senior C-level leaders to me was, oh, well, we're doing a lot of work with RPA.
Wow.
So here's this company that has gone to the legal trouble to rename itself with AI in the name, but doesn't actually know what the thing it's now named after is, which killed me.
That disturbs me. I actually put a post out. I put a post out on LinkedIn saying the same thing. I'm like, everyone thinks that they're an AI expert, but actually, we've got Power Platform people kicking about saying, hey, I'm a Copilot expert. I'm like, cool. So can you elaborate on things like data security and purview and that type of stuff? And they're like, what's the purview?
Now, like, I believe that was it you, Chris, though, who said in one of your recent conference presentations, who here is a Power Platform person? And then you said, congratulations, you are now an AI extensibility expert.
Extensibility.
But not an AI expert, just an extensibility expert. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Great. Good.
So you got me on a technicality. Chris, I always listen to you.
So here's the thing, though, with this, right? So companies now are coming to partners, they're coming to Microsoft, and they're going, we need AI. And you're like, okay, so what's the business problem? What do you mean? We need AI, right? And it's kind of like, how do you take, because obviously they're going to invest in this, but how do you deconstruct that and go and take them on a journey of really uncovering how AI is going to apply in the context of that organization and really move them from this buzzword, that we have into something that's practical, that is really going to move the dial for that organization.
Let's take a quick break.
Are you ready to transform your career in just 90 days? Join me on the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge and unlock your full potential. As I listen to the podcast, enroll now and get 10% off using the code MBAP. That's MBAP at the checkout. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from industry leaders and accelerate your growth. Visit ako.nz365guy.com and start your journey today.
Did we talk about, because I don't think We didn't. We haven't recorded since then, but I was with a client, an organization, maybe about a month ago. And ostensibly we were there assembled to discuss their power platform strategy. We spent at least the first 4 hours of an 8-hour session, and we barely talked about power platform at all. We actually talked about their data platform.
Yeah, I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I have observed is that oftentimes we go into a room thinking that we're going to talk about X, and we end up talking about Y, not because we were mistaken in thinking that the topic was X, but that all of these disciplines and all these technologies now overlay on one another, and they require one another in order to really scale and be effective. So, one of the things that I find is that when you want to build an AI strategy and you actually want to get the most out of AI within your organization, maybe talk about something else, right? Maybe talk about data, or talk about your app estate, or talk about digital literacy, because AI is not a separate mountain off in the distance that we should be treating separately.
It's usually the last part of it. If you look at you do your foundations tier, your data tier, your solutions, and then your intelligence, because you need all that quality data flowing through the system to get that. So, just to jump in here a bit, I think when people talk about AI and talk about true AI, what they really want us to go in and actually look at that data fabric they've got within their business already. So Mark and I was having this conversation offline. A lot of people still have that dispersed, siloed and segregated data around their entirety of their technology estate. So bringing that together. And then once you've got that sorted, it's then looking at exactly what Chris always talks about, which is the governance behind it, the classification, the tagging, knowing what data you have, knowing the sensitivity of it, knowing where it's stored, your target data architecture and your current data architecture, and the gap between that. And then once you've got that, I think the other thing that's overlooked that we don't always talk about is actually what quality data specialists do you have client side? Because it's all well and good partners going in and providing data engineers and data scientists, but actually the projects that are most successful are when the data specialists already exist on the client side and can work closely and understand and accelerate that growth already. And then it's okay, now you've got all that, you've got that quality data, you've got it governed, you've got people who know where it is and how to actually integrate more data into it. What is it you want AI for? And don't tell me it's because you tried it out and you got, a recipe for a brownie in the style of Snoop Dogg rapping, because we're not going to send that out to your clients. So that's when we start understanding your requirements, understanding your business objectives, your targets that you're trying to get to, your weaknesses, your strengths, and how we then can start aligning tech to be better through adopt, extend, and build your own. Sorry, I went on a full. Thanks for attending my TED Talk, guys.
I would say that even an advocate for that, and you're on the right path towards a successful problem solving implementation. So your guy on the client side doesn't necessarily need to be like 100% a data expert,
Absolutely.
But they need to understand that data is crucial, because the reason why people don't say, oh, actually we need to fix our data is because it's not flashy. It's really hard to look at. And also because people don't understand what that means. And that wasn't very clear to me until very recently. The fact that when you say the word data, people don't understand what it means. Like just this week, I was with a customer who were looking to fix or to repurpose or to re-implement a very, very clever Excel spreadsheet. Like I couldn't stop by going back over and over and over again and ask, where's this data coming from? Where's that data coming from? And they were almost annoyed with me. They were like, we're not here, like the data problem will be fixed by this other team. We need to fix this Excel spreadsheet because it's a risk. So people don't even understand that Excel spreadsheet is their data.
It's the data, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't, because for them is the app, is the functionality. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, I have the same problem, right? Like I've been speaking to an organization recently about they're looking at co-piloting their data. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like that sounds awesome. What data? And they're like, oh, no, we're going to be doing like this data source, that data source. And I'm like, okay, but you are aware that tools like Microsoft 365 Copilot are actually focused on, using mainly unstructured data, right? Like that's where it looks. So people think data and they think like a database, right? But actually unstructured data is really the problem that you've got to worry about here, because, organizations without the right retention policies, without the right rules, without the right data loss prevention, without the right file labeling and things like that, unstructured data is far easier to proliferate across the business and cause hallucination with AI. So like, for me, when I think about data, I've had to educate myself backwards and say, no, Chris, it's not just structured data inside a database. Actually, semi-structured data, unstructured data, interaction dates, all that type of thing lives across your ecosystem. I mean, look at the graph. Look at all the information that you get from the graph, right? That's still data. So when you munge those layers of data together, what happens? And I believe personally that this is the first time, I think, in history, in tech, really, where we've been able to take unstructured data, structured data, and that interactive type graph data and weld them together.
Yep.
And that's the power.
That is super interesting what you're saying, and especially the interaction data. I never even thought about that. And in theory, this is what we do, right? That's insane. And Andrew and I even have like this problem, like when we explain things, it's often that people will say, oh, that's too vague. People want to know exactly how to do things. Like concepts are so complex and remote that that's why they're saying we want to do AI, because they can easily get on like ChatGPT and ask it something and it does they want to know how to do something. They're not interested in concepts. Concepts are hard.
Yeah, and that's half the issue, right? Because can I tell you the thing that I hate the most right now when I talk to, I'm going to use Copilot, right? Because actually Copilot is a really good example of AI that works and it's visible. And, so people say, Chris, what's the use case? I'm like, will you stop talking to me about use cases? Like, what's the use case for Copilot? I'm like, dudes, the use case for Copilot is not what you think. Like, you're thinking about merging a document. I'm like, no, look at your scenario. Step back. Even Microsoft rebranded the website to scenarios because actually driving things like ROI against the use case is stupid. It's just stupid. Okay. So looking at the scenario and stepping back, actually, where will artificial intelligence augment the scenario and how will it make it better? Okay. And actually, that's how you do it, right? And I'm glad you brought that up, because what you will start seeing with the agentification of Copilot with GPT-5, okay, you will step back because agents will remove people from the equation in a lot of aspects, right? They will become observers. So when you step back and you plug in that agent framework into like a job role, you say, where can I use AI in this scenario? And I think that's what's gearing up that's what we're being geared up for now. And agents will then look at many types of data, not just a type of data. So that's what I've been learning. It's wild. Okay, I'm done on my rants.
No, it's good.
We're all taking turns to do monologues here, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Dude, it's just, you know what it is, man. It's like I get very passionate about this shit because I'm seeing it live in front of me with companies, and I'm seeing the mistakes,
Absolutely.
and I'm making mistakes. Yeah, so I'm learning.
I think agents is interesting in that we're hearing a lot of talk about agents coming, and it's that whole thing, how far down that path or how far away are we from things? Because
November
agents I see
November.
is going to have massive impact. But then I'm also like, man, there's so much still needs doing before we can get to that, level. But then, some of the more recent stuff I'm reading in AI is that some of the speed that some of the stuff's potentially coming at is going to just really, people are going to go, shit, what just happened?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Chris and I locked ourselves away yesterday working on a bit of a project that we won't say too much about, but when it comes to organizations getting ready for AI, we will have more to share in Las Vegas in about a month's time.
Nice.
That's my teaser.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Are you saying
right?
that's the next conference season starting?
Yes, conferences.
The new conference season. Well, really, it was that the new conference season was waiting on the season 2 of the ecosystem show to get underway.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it was waiting on the new season of Love is Blind.
Oh, well, I mean, Love is Blind UK premiered recently, and Anna and I have been saving it, but I think tonight might be the night.
We cannot wait. Like, we think it should be premiered at the same time.
Listen, let's be clear. It's not that great.
Have you watched?
No.
Mark has watched it.
Do you watch Love Island as well?
I saw the US version, and everyone was like, the UK version is so much better. It's the same thing with different accents. There's no difference. It's crap.
Chris was really into Love is Blind South Africa.
It's about true love. Everything in life is about true love.
It's not about true love. It's about television and entertainment.
It's awful. I was shocked you guys watched that.
It's just horrible. It's cringy.
William, there's just something about consuming like thoughtless, trashy television while drinking a bottle of champagne.
Exactly.
No. Okay, so if you're introducing champagne and say invite me round, because I'm more than happy to join in on that one now. That changes the game a bit.
Yeah. So when he said season, it was either Love is Blind or Bridgerton for me.
You're combining like two of the worst things in the world: champagne and Love is Blind.
Oh,
Chris, come on! Have you had what's the best champagne you've had, Chris?
Mate, I don't even know, but I know it was terrible.
Out of a shoe.
Good day to you, sir.
I'm just taking jams. I'm trying to get Anna to throw something.
So okay, all right. So we've got a new season of the show. We've got of whichever show it is that you watch. Though I presume that most folks are most excited about the new season of the ecosystem show. Yes. We've got a new conference season. We have a new year with Microsoft. I want to know from around the room here, what are the, one or a couple things that you are most excited about or that you are most intrigued by in Microsoft land coming up?
I'll tell you what I'm most frustrated about.
Most frustrated?
Yeah, we're going to put on at the Vegas conference, right? The Power Platform conference.
Mark is super pissed about this.
We were going to put on a happy hour where we could invite friends, etc., to it. We expected to get about 100 to 200 friends to our happy hour event on one of the evenings.
It's funny how many more friends you have when you're throwing a happy hour.
Yeah, and so the MGM Grand said, well, we have to check with the conference if they're allowing you to have this side session. I'm like, I just want to book a room, want to book a DJ, want to book some hors d'oeuvres, some drinks. It's a side, it's not on the conference organizers came back and hard denied us.
Really?
And so MGM Grand said, our hands are tied. We can't give you the facilities.
That's wild. I'm always shocked at how difficult people make it to give them money.
Blows my mind. But what am I excited about? I'll tell you what, I'm excited about AI. And why I'm excited about AI. And
we need more, Mark. We need more details.
I have been prompting probably over 100 prompts a day now for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I tell you what, I thought I was good at prompting 3 months ago, and now I'm like...
Mark's hitting the gym for his prompts.
You're prompting so hard, man. How much do you prompt?
My prompting game my prompts are essays long in length. That's the starting prompt I have. And see, Andrew, I noticed you were like, what the... And that's the thing is, man, when you really get into prompting and really understand how this conversation can work with AI, it's a lot more than just a single line question backwards and forwards. The intelligence that you can get out is off the Richter scale amazing. And so what I'm obviously doing is a RAG type process with that. That's just amazing the results that is possible.
Hey, no judgment, Mark, from one overly verbose fellow to another. Knock yourself out with your essay-long prompts.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've got a prompt library now.
That is very cool. I'm actually quite jealous. That's nerdy.
That's amazing. And do you know what's amazing? What's amazing is that you guys do this, and then you're wondering, why all organizations just want to use AI and they don't know what for. Because it's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it's the funnest thing technology has ever had, and everybody's got access to it. Of course, they don't care about their unstructured data.
Can I tell you, I agree with you, but can I tell you something that's awesome? Okay. I like pen testing organizations with shit data. I love it because the crap that I find and I show them, like I had a bunch of C-suite people on a call today, and I'm on Copilot and I'm like, I want to show you all something. So I started asking Copilot about their salaries and stuff. Their faces, when I started doing it, they were freaking. The stuff I know how to find just because I have access to AI, let me tell you something. I'm becoming a rock solid red teamer with this stuff. And I love it. I go to companies, I'm like, cool, please let me into your tenant so I can just go and red team your Copilot and show you what a clusterfuck your entire company is.
Chris,
Yeah.
Would you classify yourself now as a chaos engineer?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
So you know that chaos engineering is a whole specific category, right?
There is, yeah. It's a thing.
There's a tool in Azure for it.
Yeah.
Netflix have come out with a tool
Really?
for chaos.
Yeah. Spotify were the first ones to come up with it.
Get out. That's a real thing.
It came up this week in a side conversation around the Power Platform as what chaos engineering tools could you use with, which is, I'll give you a real simple one.
Yes.
Chaos engineering is how does the platform survive when you introduce an unbelievable high level of latency into the mix?
This is wild.
You're wanting to basically create cases that stress the system so much that you want to see if it's going to fail or not. So failure is another kind of category, but chaos engineering is an actual category.
This is going on LinkedIn.
And people are very serious into that space.
Yeah.
This is like when I was on small boats in the Coast Guard, and if we were doing, some sort of exercise or, say a man overboard drill because we were out and we were bored, and then during the drill, I would sort of discreetly push something else into the water just to screw with my crew to just create chaos all around them. Yes. Yeah.
And it's, to stress to see how things will survive, how robust, the tech is. But I think the whole because I associate it, Chris, with what you're saying with red teaming.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be a lot more education around what red teaming is, how it works, what its function is, and how any strategy an organization has in AI needs to include the red teaming element to it. And that's not just tools, but it's actually specific methodology around red teaming.
I think that you've lost Chris about 5
Yeah, Chris is out.
He's
just saying yes.
Chaos engineering is the thing. I think
I'm listening. I'm listening, but I'm quite legitimately doing research on chaos engineering, and I love it. This is yes. Thank you for that.
Okay. So Anna, your turn. What are you most excited about or most intrigued by?
I mean, I don't know if I'm super excited or intrigued about anything, starting with regards to the new year. Because not that much has changed. But what has changed is good. So the one thing that I do like is that finally they don't segregate at least Power Platform and Dynamics as much. Finally, those targets have come together a bit more. And that's a big deal. That truly says that you can work, towards the best solution for a customer. And that's a big deal because no matter how well-intentioned the folk at Microsoft were, and how much they wanted to empower organizations and drive operational efficiencies, they would never put their best work where they weren't incentivized, right? Where their targets weren't met. So by doing that, I think Microsoft has done a good thing, but not enough of a good thing. I will be really excited when I will see a little Azure quota with these things as well.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And that's where things are really going to start, to spin up. And that's where people are really going to be empowered to find the best solutions.
I think that there's some interesting there's some signs of life on this front, right? Like,
yeah, 17 years later, I feel like we've been dragging our feet for at least 5 years. Like, it's exhausting, honestly.
well, I've seen such a cooling of the citizen development fervor around Power Platform over the last, I would say 6 to 12 months. And that's not to say that's not that citizen development is not still a compelling part of the value proposition, but I see some really promising signs. Mark talks about anchor apps, and I've now adopted this word, but I've seen some really promising signs of Microsoft significantly reorienting its messaging around business applications and Power Platform specifically, around some of the themes of Power Platform as an enterprise app dev platform. Power Platform is part of the data platform and of the data fabric within an organization. So, I don't know if this year is the year that we're going to go all the way on this. Certainly the 5 of us on the show, we're going all the way with this, but we've been doing that all along. But I do see some promising signs that the thinking around this is starting to change wholesale.
Mr. Dorrington, what are your thoughts?
I agree with everything that's been said so far, including Anna saying there's just nothing to look forward to. On top of
that is our British co-host for you right there. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will, for living up to your cultural stereotype.
No, you are most welcome. So, but one thing that I don't think we talk about enough is that of process mining. We talk about finding clear objectives. We talk about finding inefficiencies and going in. But I still think process mining, especially within the realm of Microsoft partners, is so underserved that no one's really cracked it yet to look at actually how discover those inefficiencies in organizational wide processes, actually understand how they're really using their systems, their ERPs, their CRMs, their back office, side office, front office, and then looking to plug them.
Nobody cares about ERP, Will. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about ERP.
Yeah, well, there's someone out there that does. It used to be me, but even I don't anymore. But and then plugging those gaps with RPA, DPA, AI, etc. I think it's going to be something that we really do need to crack better, because I'm seeing an absolute surge of process mining companies in the wild, and I'm getting a lot of clients using it, and it's something that I'm going to be focusing energy on. And the other thing, and just to do a small shout out, it's just the Scottish Summit is coming up. Absolutely love that event. It's just around the corner in Aberdeen. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there and exploring that event as well. So I think they're the two key things for me in the near future.
Mark?
Yeah. As I've already gave mine at the start, right? It's written.
Oh yeah, Mark already did.
Chris, what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about chaos engineering. Right now.
At this moment.
Yeah, right now. No, can I tell you what I'm really excited about? Okay, so I'm excited about agents and I'm excited about responsible AI. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that responsible AI is going to rear its head very, very quickly in the next few months. And let me explain. Think about an agent, right? So what does an agent do? So an agent effectively doesn't replace the human. It gives them the skills to be more observing of what the process does. So if you have agent A, and we're going to call it agent Anna and agent Anna and agent Andrew. Okay.
So which one of us is agent A?
Yeah, agent Anna, agent Andrew. No, A1 and A2. Anyway, so it doesn't matter. But either way, you're swapping information constantly, right? So you're talking to each other, blah, 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 blah. What happens when agent Andrew is in a shit mood and causes agent Anna to be in a shit mood?
In practical terms, this would be reversed.
I'm trying to not get something thrown at me. Okay. Anyway.
I am a jolly fellow.
Yeah. Anyway, so think about this. If your agent uses, and what is an agent? Agent uses AI and automation to drive the completion of a scenario. Okay. That's what an agent is. So if you build the agent incorrectly, okay, and those agents are passing data off between one another, you have a problem. So the other thing that we're not used to doing is we are not used to testing non-deterministic tools. Okay, we are used to testing deterministic tools. Yep. So we know the outcome, like Power Automate as an example, we know the outcome. GPT, generative pre-trained transformers, are non-deterministic. So how do you know that your agent is going to do the right thing? That's a problem. So if you have these non-deterministic agents running around your business doing things, and they could potentially, I call it Agent Armageddon, infect one another, okay? And you don't have the right observability rules inside your organization from a governance and control perspective, you're actually causing a much bigger problem. Think about things like insider risk management, data exfiltration, proliferation of bad data in your business. You now have a bigger problem, okay? So what will happen is you have to create a thing called a deployment safety board. All right, now I'm not going to speak more about that here because actually there's a lot of NDA stuff in there, but that's the only tip that I'm going to give. And the deployment safety board allows you to deploy AI solutions in a safe manner that have been red teamed and tested. And if you look at the European AI legislation, Andrew, how does the European Union make all its money?
By begging countries for more.
And suing people.
Oh, and do they sue people?
Well, yeah. So Microsoft have been sued by them before. So if you don't meet those standards,
the companies are not people, Chris.
Sorry, you know what I mean. Anyway,
this is not America, okay?
Yeah, true. Anyway, I'm on a rant, right? So what will happen is that if you don't set up your AI governance board correctly, okay, the fine is 30 million euros or 7.5 of your base revenue for the year. Okay, so if you don't do this correctly, that's what will happen. Right. So now what I'm thinking is no one knows what a deployment safety board is. No one knows how to build agents. No one knows how to test agents. Okay. And no one understands the output of what will happen if you have Agent Armageddon in your business, which is why I like this chaos engineering concept. Because I think that if you pen test those agents correctly and you red team correctly and you create the right transparency notes, actually you could have something very powerful on your hands. And that to me is the next thing.
And I think a little bit of a plug here. One, I think that this is something that Microsoft partners are terrifically far behind with. If I project out in this time next year and maybe even sooner, there's going to be terrific demand for partners that have some degree of expertise here. Don't know why I just got that emoji. Thank you. But partners that have some degree of expertise here and partners that have actually been proactive now in putting together the capability to go help organizations stand these up and do this effectively. So that's something. And here's the shameless plug where Cloud Lighthouse is now working with partners to build that capability and to build those practices, which is something that something that I'm really excited about over the next 12 months or so.
So we are at time. So I'll just probably take the wrap out sequence here. Number one, Cloud Lighthouse did release their labs capability this last week. And that means if you are in a position that you need an idea brought to reality, but you don't want to go to a traditional partner, you want to sweat test an idea and validate it back to the business without any forward motion after that point, check out the labs offering. The second thing I just want to bring to your attention, Andrew and Anna have written an amazing course around ecosystems and how you really can get into ecosystem development. It's about a 7-module course that will be released in the next 6 weeks publicly as a self-paced training course. So we intend to release that at Vegas, that conference. So that'll be there for you. So great opportunity as we educate the community. We're looking forward to the season ahead. There's so much to cover and discuss. Hopefully you've all gone out and got your 5 strawberries this week and are excited about the implications of eating those and what that's going to mean for us all going forward.
This is just, I love, this is how Mark gets results out of his business partners, is that he announces on a podcast that something is going to be ready in 6 weeks. There it is.
That's it. Buy yourself some motivation, right? Buy yourself some commitment.
Yes, that's what I lack, Mark. Thank you.
Send us your questions. We're keen to get feedback from you. Do we need to start a WhatsApp group for the ecosystems where anybody can ask their question and we just check it out? Maybe we'll set that up in the week ahead, and we will have a WhatsApp segment which is questions that you want us to answer.
It's what we need, Mark. It's what we need in our life is another WhatsApp group.
More WhatsApp groups. Marcus is just throwing down the gauntlet all over the place here. Deadlines and WhatsApp groups.
Or Teams channels. Let's get them all in. Yeah.
Ciao.
Later.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Thanks for tuning into the Ecosystem Show. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and thought-provoking. And maybe you had a laugh or two. Remember, your feedback and challenges help us all grow. So don't hesitate to share your perspective. Stay connected with us for more innovative ideas and strategies to enhance your software estate. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries and creating value. See you on the next episode.